I wonder if this could be CDC approved as a mask. Either way, boo, I'm a ghost.
True North Reviews, True North Reviews, True North Reviews.
Hey there, welcome to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing the album Roadrunner, New Light, New Machine. It's by Brockhampton, of course, the best boy band since One Direction. This is the follow-up to 2019's Ginger. I feel like I was a little too hard on that record in retrospect. Though the singles are still the standouts in my opinion, the mellowed out vibe makes a whole lot more sense, especially after checking out this new album, Roadrunner. Which, this comes out after a fairly quiet 2020 for Brockhampton standards with no official record release. Of course, coming into this project, there was a lot less time for its promotion. I mean, there was the Technical Difficulties series that teased some tracks that were okay, but in the bigger picture, not something that is regarded as Brockhampton's best work, and not much of it felt like it was serviceable for a full-length album. And come on, fans expect more, especially when Roadrunner is alleged to be the penultimate record in the Brockhampton discography, according to Kevin Abstract's Twitter. Jumpstarting this project, we start things off on Buzzcut featuring Danny Brown, and honestly, this song should have been subtitled Banger, because that's what it is, a banger. An invigorated flow and verse from Kevin is on here. Danny Brown's feature has some extra bursts of energy, and the outro on the track is quite heavenly. Moving on, Chain On featuring JPEG Mafia is actually one of the Technical Difficulties tracks that made the cut for this project, minus the sample-heavy second leg, but I'm still happy that it made an appearance here since it was one of the original tracks I liked, because, let's face it, it does go a long way when you have JPEG name-dropping Dua Lipa. Seriously though, why I enjoy this track is JPEG Mafia's verse. It is sharp, it is biting, and the production helps it go a long way too. The production is again on display for the subsequent track Count on Me, which showcases a bouncy instrumental that I thought was pretty drab at first, but I've come around on it. If you found yourself a fan of the song Sugar from Ginger, and come on, pretty much everyone is, you will love Count on Me. It is the poppiest and most radio-friendly of the batch here by a long shot. Surprisingly though, I'm still blown away every time I see that Shawn Mendes vocal credit on the chorus. Count on Me was already a great song to begin with, but if we're throwing Shawn in there for the fun too, I approve. Another track that didn't initially win me over was When I Ball. Yes, the bass line was always engaging, and I also appreciated the backing vocals from Rex Orange County, but the hook was pretty annoying on first listen. I think after multiple listens now, it's for sure one of the catchier on the project, and that makes it more memorable, that makes it more entertaining. Along with the track Bankroll, which is a modern trap song with an okay beat, but what sells me on it are the performances by A$AP Rocky and A$AP Ferg. Guess that means you have to listen to the song as soon as possible, if you know what I'm saying. From there, Brockhampton has listeners enter a time capsule set to go back to the late 90s or early 2000s on the organ and guitar-heavy track Delight. Let's not kid ourselves, this is a rock song, and that instrumental is so flawless, it almost doesn't matter what Brockhampton has to say on this track lyrically, it's secondary in my mind. But of course, they still come through with personal details on stories of suicide, mental health, and even Kevin's upbringing in Texas. If you enjoy the cut The Light, there is a second dose of guitar appearing on What's the Occasion. This is also a track that incorporates G-funk and earlier hip-hop. Definitely a louder and more climactic conclusion on What's the Occasion, in contrast to other songs like Old News and Windows, which the latter in Windows is certainly the more fleshed out of the two. It was also the first time I noticed Merlin on the record in a greater capacity. However, even with the great verses from the other members of the group, the track Windows does seem to lose steam towards the end of the song. The passage in the final minute drags and isn't very compelling. It almost sounds loungy. Then we move into the most underwhelming section of the record, in my opinion. Unfortunately, it coincides with the tried and true boy band songs that Brockhampton have pulled off in the past, but this time they make for some of the most boring ideas that the boys have put to tape to date. I'll Take You On is really the first misstep for the production, and it sours the soothing melody. The hi-hats are way too prominent in the mix for my liking, the 808s and beat cut out of the instrumental out of nowhere, and that makes the stop and starts very jarring. Granted, the tune wasn't anything to write home about in the first place anyways, but more bad news comes on the track. Old news. This song injects some rap verses, but again, suffers from the stop and starts in the instrumental in a very forced manner, and if it's not that, the tune is again just on the forgettable side. Thankfully, I found that there's just those two duds in the track list. They sort things out again. If you enjoyed Buzzcut, welcome yourself back to Banger City on the cut Don't Shoot Up the Party. With obvious social commentary for the US over the past year, this is a woke track, but is also very solid and catchy in its chorus. It should be a fan favorite going forward. Now, outside the features and mentions I've given to Merlin and Kevin at this point, a good portion of Roadrunner's lyrics are aimed at Joba and his response to his father's suicide. The most solemn and beautiful of those tracks would be Bareface on Dear Lord, not only a religious follow-up to the previous track, but also a prayer for peaceful resolution in Joba's love and life. These themes feed in very well to the closer, The Light Part 2, which is an anti-suicide anthem of sorts. The guitar and vocal arrangements are beyond words, very transcendent. However, the verse from Joba is an absolute tearjerker as he faces the reality after his father has committed suicide. Some of the lyrics on screen are the most gut-wrenching culmination of those feelings, and I love Joba's vocal choice of whispering in the chorus that he's screaming, "Please don't do it." It's almost as if Joba is stuck between a metaphorical rock and a hard place, deciding if he wants to hold on to his past or let go. And while he wishes to raise children of his own one day and have grandkids, and those grandkids have grandkids, carry on that lineage, Joba is going to carry this weight of love and potential for what else could have been if his father was around. As you could probably guess, as explored on both parts of The Light, Roadrunner as a whole is Joba and to an extent Kevin-centric, but it's also a greater sonic glimpse into 90s hip-hop. With the exception of a couple underwhelming outros, I think there are stronger deep cuts to be had on Roadrunner in comparison to Ginger. Also, Roadrunner feels more cohesive as well. Like I said, the narrative focus is on Joba and Kevin. You might as well call it their record, because between the features of Sean, Danny Brown, and the two ASAPs, I think they spread the spotlight and almost take it off other Brockhampton members such as Merlin, Matt, and Dom. Not that that's a bad thing. After all, Brockhampton are dealing with a set of certain time constraints, so they almost have to pick and choose who gets more attention to keep that narrative pushing forward with consistency and depth. Nevertheless, I'd argue Roadrunner has something for every type of Brockhampton fan. There's bangers, there's introspection on very emotional rap-like ballads, if those are such a thing. And then to top it off, you have like Sugar 2.0 in Count on Me, so there's no going wrong with Roadrunner in my mind. It's a good cross-selection of the group's previous albums, and they reel you in again with a compelling narrative. I mean, maturity, loss, and grief, what else could you possibly want to make it more compelling? Now, does this record run a little long? Possibly, but at the end of the day, there's only so much more Brockhampton left to go around, so take what you can get. I certainly did with this album, maybe you do too, and regardless of how they decide to wrap things up, and if they do so on their next record, Brockhampton have strung together an impressive string of albums. Roadrunner, for sure though, has me both excited and confident that the boys can bring this on home one last time. As for now, I'm going to give Roadrunner, New Light, New Machine an 8 out of 10, a must-listen for any Brockhampton fan. If you're new to them, I'd recommend starting with my favorite tracks, which will be listed down below in the description. While you're down there, feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, tell me what you guys think of this music and the review. Whether you agree or disagree, I'm here to engage with you guys. Thanks for watching, and have a rockin' day.